stuttered. "We'll leave first thing tomorrow morning," Thea declared. "The train leaves at 6:30. See you at the station." When the cat is away. At 6 o'clock, I was at the station. I had been listening to the weather report. There would be clear skies all over Mouse Island, but fog, as always, in Transratania. Why, oh why did my cousin have to get lost in the coldest part of the island? The coldest and most mysterious, too. There were lots of stories about the castles of Transratania. Some believed they were stirring with ghosts. At last, Thea showed up. She was dressed in a smart wool coat with a fake cat fur scarf and matching hat. "Hey, big brother, how are you?" she greeted me. She was grinning. "Awful, thank you," I grumbled. "How will the paper manage without me?" I worried out loud. "You know what they say. When the cat is away, the mice will play." My sister laughed. "Oh, please, Jerrykins," she scoffed. "You're not all that important, really." "In case you have forgotten, I run a newspaper," I said in my most serious tone. "If I am not at my desk, who will publish the Rodents Gazette?" "Oh, give me a break," Thea snickered. "The office can run just fine without you. In fact, they will probably be better off. No nervous old cheddar face breathing down their fur." "I am not a cheddar face," I protested. But I have to admit, I did worry about the paper. After all, mice everywhere were reading it. "By the way, Jerry Tales," Thea interrupted my thoughts, "do you ever read the Daily Rat? I was reading it the other day, and—" Before my sister could continue, I jumped to my paws. "The Daily Rat?" I squeaked. "How can you read such garbage? You know that paper is written by the slimiest sewer rats in the city. They would rob their own mothers for a good story. They would feed a cat the entire graduating class of Mouseville Elementary if it sold papers. That junk is only good for wrapping up rotten herrings." "Yes, well, that's all very interesting," Thea said. "But last night I had a great idea for an article. I will write a story on the castles in Transratania. Horror is very in these days, you know," she explained. "Anyway, I've already sold the article, and they paid me a bundle." "What did you say?" Why was I so upset? Well, you see, Thea is a special correspondent for my paper, the Rodents Gazette. Could she really be working for my rivals over at the Daily Rat? "What? Are you telling me you want to quit the Gazette?" I squeaked. I felt faint. On my rodent's honor. Just then, I heard a creaking sound. My sister leaped in front of me. "What's that?" I said. "What are you hiding?" "Nothing, nothing at all," Thea answered, waving her paw at me. "What would I have to hide? Boy, are you jumpy today." I jumped to the left, but Thea was quicker than me. Next, I jumped to the right. Again, my sister beat me to the spot. After a few more jumps, I gave up. "Enough with the dance number," I shrieked at last. "What are you hiding?" "Now, don't get your tail in knots, Jerry Berry," Thea smirked. "It's just a little old trunk." At that moment, the lid of the trunk opened. A pair of tiny ears popped out. It was Benjamin, my young nephew. "Hello, Uncle Jerry," he squeaked. "Benjamin, what are you doing here?" I cried. I turned to Thea. "We cannot take such a young mouse with us to Transratania." My nephew flicked his tail in the air. "I am not young. I am 9 years old," he insisted. "Besides, Aunt Thea said I could help you." That's it, I thought. For once, I have to show them I'm in charge. "Forget it," I announced in my most take-charge voice. "On my rodent's honor, this time we do it my way, or my name is not Geronimo Stilton." Next stop, Rat-off. 10 minutes later, the three of us were comfortably seated on the train. Grrr. So much for taking charge, I grumbled to myself. Maybe I shouldn't have dropped out of that tough-talking mouse class I had signed up for last summer. The teacher was this old gray rodent with one eye. He had picked on me so much the first day of class I was afraid to go back. I sighed and settled back in my seat. My sister was happily reading aloud from a tourist's guide of Transratania. Hidden in the foggy hills of Transratania sits the mysterious Ratov Castle. Meanwhile, Benjamin had snuggled under my coat. Brr, it's cold, but I don't mind. I'm so happy to be traveling with you, Uncle Geronimo, he squeaked cheerfully. I stroked his tiny ears and smiled. Did I tell you that Benjamin is my favorite nephew? An hour later, I pressed my snout against the window. The landscape was getting gloomier and gloomier. At every stop, mice seemed to pour out of the train. But there was no pushing and shoving at our stop. That's because by the time we reached Ratov, we were the only passengers left. Ratov, next stop, Ratov, echoed a lonely voice in the fog. Garlic, garlic, and more garlic. We climbed off the train and looked around. Now we just had to figure out how to get to Ratov Castle. Excuse me, sir, which way to Ratov Castle? I asked a tall, lean rat wearing a ragged coat. His eyes opened wide. He clutched at his garlic necklace. Then he disappeared into the fog without a word. My sister rolled her eyes. Let me try, she grumbled. You are absolutely useless, Germeister. She tapped the arm of a passing female mouse. Excuse me, could you direct me to Count Vlad von Ratov's castle? She said. Aye! Shrieked the mouse. She scampered off, shaking her bracelet of garlic cloves in the air. We decided to check out the souvenir shop across from the station. A mouse with a crooked tail stood behind the counter. He looked at us with curiosity. Pardon me, I began. Yes, said the mouse. Could you direct us to a castle? I continued. Yes, said the mouse. We're looking for the castle of Count von Ratov, I finished. At the name Ratov, the mouse's eyes nearly popped out of his furry face. He flung a handful of souvenir garlic necklaces around his neck. A tag hanging from the necklace read, Greetings from Transratania. Then in smaller letters it read, Garlic in me, perfect together. How strange. I wondered what it all meant, but I didn't get the chance to ask. Before I knew it, the mouse was shoving us out the door. He clicked the lock behind us and turned out the lights. How rude, squeaked Thea. What a way to treat tourists. I wouldn't buy his silly souvenirs if they were the last ones in town, she ranted. Did you see those ridiculous garlic keychains? And who would want to send a garlic postcard? A few minutes later, we passed a fancy restaurant. I read the menu out loud. Hearty garlic pot pie, jumbo garlic burgers, pasta with extra garlic. What a strange menu. A large mouse came to the door. Would you like to have dinner, sir? He asked. His breath smelled like he had just sampled every dish on the menu. No, thank you, I gasped. But could you tell us how to get to the castle of Count von Ratov? In a flash, the mouse pulled out a big bottle and gulped down the liquid inside. Judging by the stench, it must have been garlic juice. Get out, he shrieked, slamming the door in our snouts. What was it with the mice of Ratov and their garlic? I thought about all of the mice we had passed wearing garlic necklaces. I thought about the garlic bracelets and the garlic wreaths on the front doors. No, this wasn't just a passing trend, I decided. In fact, there is only one reason why rodents would keep so much garlic. A shiver ran up my fur. Some say garlic is what you use to keep vampires away. Who flew in the dark of night? It was a pitch-black night. You couldn't see your nose in front of your snout. We were like the three blind mice trying to figure out which way to run. A sudden flash of lightning filled the black sky. That's it, shouted Benjamin. That's the castle over there. I caught a glimpse of the castle's pointed towers. What a perfect picture, cried Thea happily, pulling out her camera. Just then, we heard a noise. A very odd-looking steam-powered car rattled toward us. The mouse at the wheel appeared to have a hunched back. He was dressed all in black, with a dark hood pulled over his head. The strange rodent was humming an even stranger song. Who crossed the sky in the dark of night? Oh, what terror! Oh, what fright! Who crossed the sky on the wings of a bat? Discover the secret, ask a wise rat. Who crossed the sky in the